Now we're going to work on importing the Alma library. This is a crucial step in setting up our project, as it allows us to utilize the functionality provided by this library. By importing Alma, we'll be able to access its various modules and methods, which will enable us to create some really cool AI-powered applications. Now we're going to work on the draft_writer function, which is responsible for generating a first draft of a research paper on a given topic. This function takes a topic string as an argument and returns the generated draft as a string. Let's take a look at the docstring for this function. It tells us that we're using the Llama 3 instruct model to generate the draft, and that our task is to write a first draft of a research paper on the specified topic. We'll only include relevant facts and information, written in a professional and academic tone. The system_prompt variable contains the prompt for our language model to generate the draft. It sets the stage by explaining the context and requirements for writing the research paper. Now we're going to work on generating a research paper draft using the Llama AI model. Here, I'm creating a prompt for the user, which will be used as input for the AI model. I'm defining a variable user_prompt and formatting it with the topic that was passed in earlier. This prompt asks the AI to write a first draft of a research paper on the given topic. Next, I'm calling the Alma.chat function and passing in some arguments. The first one is the model I want to use, in this case, Llama 3 with the instruction set. Then, I'm providing a list of messages to pass through the AI model. The first message is for the system, which I'll get into later. For now, let's just say it's some context information that helps the AI understand what we're asking. The second message is from the user, and that's where our formatted user_prompt comes in. This is the actual request we're making to the AI, write a research paper draft on this topic. Once I get the response back from the AI, I'm going to parse it and return the resulting text as the output of this function. Now we're going to work on defining a function called editor. This function takes one argument, writer_text, which represents the draft of a research paper. The function's purpose is to review this draft and provide feedback using the LLM latest model. The function is documented with a docstring that explains its behavior. It says that as an editor for a research journal, my job is to review the draft and provide constructive criticism and suggestions for improvement to enhance the quality of the paper. If the paper is ready to be published, I'll approve it by adding the tag, ready_to_publish, at the end of my feedback. Now we're going to work on the core functionality of our AI-powered chatbot. Here, I'm creating a prompt for the LLM model that's going to generate our response. I'm using f-strings to create a formatted string called user_prompt. This string is essentially the message that will be sent to the LLM model, and it includes some text written by the user. Think of this as the input prompt for our AI. Next, I'm calling the Alma.chat function, passing in the model we want to use, in this case, LLM latest. I'm also providing a list of messages that will be sent to the model. The first message is labeled as system and contains some system prompt information. This system prompt is essentially the context or setup for our AI's response, and it can include things like user input from an earlier part of the chat or even environmental details. The second message is labeled as user and contains our user_prompt string. This represents the actual question or statement that we want the AI to respond to. The response from the LLM model is stored in the response variable. I'm then extracting the content of that response using the parsed_response variable. Finally, I'm returning this parsed response to be used further down the line in our chatbot's logic. This function takes three arguments: topic, writer text, and editor feedback. Its purpose is to refine the draft based on the editor's feedback using a specific AI model. It first defines a system prompt, which is essentially a set of instructions that the AI model will follow when making edits to the research paper. Now we're going to work on displaying some context about the topic. Here, I'm creating a variable called user_prompt and using an f-string to format it. This string is going to contain 3 pieces of information: the original topic, the last draft written by the user, and any editor feedback. Let's break it down. We have 3 placeholders here: topic, writer_text, and editor_feedback. These will be replaced with actual values when this code runs. The f-string notation allows us to embed these values directly into our string. This is a great way to create dynamic text, like in this case, where we're displaying context about the topic. Now we're going to work on a crucial part of our AI integration, interacting with the Llama model. Specifically, we're using the Llama library to chat with this powerful AI. Let's break it down. We're defining a variable response and passing in 2 things: the Llama model, llama3, instruct, as a string, and a list of messages. Each message is another dictionary with role and content keys. The role can be either system or user, which tells the AI what kind of input this is. The system prompt sets up context for the conversation based on certain rules or instructions. Then we have our user prompt, where you as an end user would ask your question for Llama model to respond with. Once interaction occurs and gets processed by Llama, the response comes back encapsulated in a JSON structure nested within message. We're accessing its content specifically via parsed_response. This code snippet hence forms our function's output, returning a dialog from Llama based on user input after setting up context through system prompt. For example, the system prompt might be something like, "I'm interested in learning about AI," and then we could ask our question like, "What are some real-world applications of AI?" Now we're going to work on the main logic of our research paper generation system. We're defining a topic for the paper and then looping until it's approved by the editor. We start by setting the topic, which is essentially the title of our research paper. This will guide our initial draft generation and subsequent refinements. Next, we generate an initial draft using the draft_writer function with the given topic. We print out this initial draft to see what we're starting with. Then, we print a separator line to make it easier to read. Now, we enter a loop that continues until our editor is satisfied with the draft. Inside this loop, we get feedback from the editor using the editor function and print it out. Again, we print a separator line to separate the different stages of refinement. Using this feedback, we refine our original draft by calling the refine_query_writer function with the topic, original draft, and feedback. We then print out the refined draft and another separator line. Finally, we check if the editor has approved the draft by looking for a specific string, read_publish, in their feedback. If they have, we break out of the loop.